This is Chuck Huber, the voice of Android 17. You're listening to Anime Seekers. You better be, or I'm coming for you. Dragon of the Darkness, Flame!
Toku Secrets is a podcast run by the Anime Secrets website. Check us out at animesecrets.org for more anime, video game, tokusatsu content. Remember to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts today.
Oh, yes. This is Goldar, and you're listening to Toku Secrets Podcast. Don't tune us out, tune us in.
Welcome to Toku Secrets. Join us as we journey into the marvelous world of Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, Power Rangers, and many other tokusatsu. Get ready for the adventure of a lifetime. It's Morphin time! Link to the Morphin. I'm Nathan Desai, the dazzling adventurer, Boken Silver.
I'm Patrick Allen, I'm Shinken Red.
And I'm Ridwan Merchant, Gokai Red.
And I'm Anthony Davis, also known as Curie Green. And we're Toku Secrets.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Toku Secrets Podcast, once again presented by animesecrets.org. And today we have the whole crew on again today. We took a little bit of a break, but we're finally back. We're slowly starting to catch up. We are back to reviewing the current Sentai that is airing, Bakuage Sentai Boonboomger. Last time we got up to about Bakuage 10. That's what the episodes are called. So we're going to be doing 11 through 14 today, and slowly getting caught up. That's pretty much our priority before we start on our next Sentai. So pretty straightforward. But before we do that, just something briefly I want to address. This has been all over social media, just a brief little rant-out thing. It is September. We're getting very close to, probably in a month or two when the Sentai for 2025 is going to be announced. And as per usual, there are rumors all over the place. And apparently there's a rumor all over social media that we're going to be starting off with 3 Rangers, Red Wolf, Blue Lion, Yellow Tyranno, and then they're later going to introduce Black Unicorn and Green Hawk. The transformation items are going to be rings, and there's going to be cameos from Senior Super Sentai. So, pretty interesting stuff. Red, Blue, and Yellow.
Is it an anniversary season?
No. We still got this is 48, I think, so we still got one more year.
That's weird that they've been doing cameos in a non-anniversary season.
I mean, last year for King Oger, they had all the Kyoryugers show up.
Yeah, that's true.
And spoiler alert, we're going to be having a cameo from Senior Sentai in this little review, too. So, but yeah, pretty cool. And honestly, it'll be awesome to see rings as a transformation device in a modern Sentai, because the only time that they did rings was in Dingy Man, which that came out before anyone who is on this podcast or anyone who's watching this podcast was even alive, to my knowledge. So, yeah, pretty interesting stuff. But with that said, let's jump in. We're going to do a brief recap of last time in the couple of episodes. We got 2 new Boonboomgers. Joe Akuze, he was a local police officer. He was made to be a representative for the ISA in the Boonboomgers, and he proved himself to Taya and became Boon Black. And then Gimba Burenki, he was the Boonboomgers' procurer of weapons and equipment. He joined them as Boon Orange. And the Hashirians also got joined by a captain called Mad Rex. He arrived on Earth through a meteorite, but then he got defeated by Taya. So, pretty basic stuff. But yeah, we have 5 Boonboomgers now, which is pretty cool. And now we're going to move into a Bakuage 11, What the Boy Wants, which is a filler episode revolving around Taya, where he's tasked with delivering a special package to a sick boy. We learned that he was inspired to become a courier from a man named Naito. He's a rich businessman who he basically developed data for an important system for intelligence, and he had Taya deliver it personally because he was afraid of it being stolen. So, minor backstory revelation for Taya. And the Hashirians also get a new boss who is going to be with us for a little bit, named Cannonborg. He's the chiefs of the Hashirians remodeling. He takes over as the new leader. So, yeah, that's all the major details for this episode. So, what do we think about this one, guys?
The message of this episode was... This episode really took Taya up for me because I sympathize with him. You get a kid to smile, your day's good.
Yeah.
And that final scene of him standing outside his window with the little plushie and stuff and waving at him, I was like, okay, I got this big dumb smile on my face. I'm happy today. That was wholesome. That was so wholesome. I love that.
No, the Taya stocks are infinitely rising right now with all
Yeah.
this. I already like Taya a lot, but he is rising quick.
His dedication was like, this kid wants this doll and everything. It was like, oh, if it's for a kid, I'm doing it. I'm like, that's my guy. That's my red right there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought that was a really good episode. I really liked Taya's dedication to the kid, and honestly, just the entire interaction as well with the Monster of the Week was not bad. The entire episode was really entertaining to me, at least.
Yeah, for sure.
I loved how after they did their extravagant henchman and roll call in this episode, the three idiots like applauded them because they were so amazed by how flashy it was.
Yeah.
You want to add anything on this one, Anthony?
Oh yeah. Like he said, like y'all said, red stocks are going up. He's just so cool and so humble too. That's like,
yes,
humble and
empathetic are the two words I use to describe this guy. And man, he's impossible to hate.
I can't hate him. I'm sorry.
No,
there's no way.
It's illegal to hate this man.
Yeah, definitely. We got. Yeah, he's a very unique red compared to the other ones I've seen.
Oh,
he's got the cool, like, I don't know, like, he's got that cool, calm, collected one, like the stoic ones, like Takeru and I can't think of anyone other than Takeru off the top of my head, but like he's got that coolness factor, but he doesn't have the but he has more of like a good heart, and he's a bit more friendly compared to those types of reds.
So
I can't think of another red who was like that.
The way I see him from the Sentais I've seen, he's a combination of Takeru, King, and a little bit of Marvelous. Because he's got the Takeru cool. Yeah. He has that goofiness that King can bring to the table every now and then when he needs to.
He's got that suave of Marvelous.
Exactly. So I mean,
I see it.
Yeah, I think that's his personality, and I love him for it. He's just so great.
Yep.
And mind you, these are all reds that I love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, even I, who has seen a bunch of reds, like more reds than like almost more than half of the reds. Yeah, Taya is a very unique character.
You've seen more than 80% of the reds. Let's not mince words here.
I know. But yeah, I'd probably I think this one, I mean, it's a solid filler. It's probably I'd say an 8.5, maybe 9. What about you guys?
I'm giving
it an 8.5.
I'm giving it a 9.
I'm giving it 9 too.
Okay.
You know what? 9. Pure pressure wins today.
Yeah, and it wins for me too. 9. All right, now let's move on to the big one, the big main thing that we're probably going to be talking about here, Bakuage 12 Explosive Engine, where an old hero and his partner, they appear to help the Boonboomgers. So what happens in this episode is that Taya is returning from a mission, and he comes across the engine Speedor. Speedor is the Condor sports car hybrid engine, and former partner of Sosuke Isumi, Go-On Red. Speedor came to the human world to find Sosuke because apparently his son, the son of him and Bear RV, Mock Galkin, a.k.a. a character from Go-Kaiger, he's getting married. Yeah, that is just so that is awesome. Um, Mock Alkin is getting married, and all the other Go-Ongers and all the engines are going there. So he's going to get Sosuke, but he gets damaged after he collided with Cannonborg, so he's rendered stuck in his small form. Joe encounters Sosuke. Sosuke was helping a lost child find his mother. And then when Sosuke follows Joe, when he responds to the latest attack, he gets reunited with Speedor. Sosuke is able to become Go-On Red again. He helps the Boonboomgers defeat the monster. And then when the monster grows, Speedor comes back with Busan and Bear RV so that Sosuke can form Ingeno, and the Boonboomgers defeat the monster, after which, Sosuke and Taya have a little moment. So, yeah, it's a pretty self-contained, little team up, but still pretty cool. Also, this is kind of a funny way to just kind of preview the fact that we're going to be taking a look at Go-Onger after we get caught up with Boonboomger. But what do we think about this episode, guys?
I had so much fun with this, just because just seeing him and Speedor back, it's always nice to see returning characters, but having him be as stylish as he was in Go-Onger and hearing a lot of the Go-Onger OST, because I love Go-Onger's OST.
Big facts. Oh,
yeah. The Henshin theme is like a top 3 Henshin theme for me, and hearing it again was great.
Oh, yeah.
And Engino back and everything. Like you said, it was very self-contained. It was very simple. But as someone who's a big fan of Go-Onger, I just had a blast.
Yeah, I was really surprised. They use a lot of stock footage from Go-Onger in this episode, like the footage where Sosuke is loading his gun with like the engine soul, and the whole Engine O sequence is taken directly from Go-Onger. That footage came out like
2008.
This is over 15 years old, and it still seamlessly goes into this episode.
Yeah.
Seamlessly. You could tell.
Yeah, you could tell a little bit when he was doing his roll call and he struck the Go-On Red pose. You could tell the quality of the footage dipped a little bit.
It dipped from like that nice pristine, I don't know if it's like 4K or 2K, but
yeah, to like
it dipped down to like 1080.
720, 1080p.
But I would still say it's better than like in Mighty Morphin, A Friend in Need, where you're taking this Kamen Rider footage from like 1982 and trying to put it in an episode that's coming out in like 1996.
Or in what was it, Beast Morphers, where they used Mighty Morphin and Dino Thunder footage for the cockpits.
Oh god.
Riz, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, I was gonna. So, as some of y'all know from my previous podcast where we talked about it, I am still in progress watching Go-Onger right now. I'm not done with it by any means, but it was really cool seeing Sosuke, like the end product, what Sosuke will become at the end of Go-Onger. I don't know the context, obviously, for how he got there, but I definitely enjoyed that journey, like seeing where he ends up. And like Patrick, I love the entire like OST playing in the background. I thought that was pretty awesome, because I'm listening to the OST right now while I'm watching Go-Onger. So for me, it kind of was fitting that I'm still used to hearing the theme song every couple of days, and I'm watching an episode or two. But no, I like Sosuke a lot as a character so far. And I like seeing where he ends up, given where I am right now in the season.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
My only question that I'm kind of scared to ask, because I feel like that's going to lead to a spoiler, so I'm not certain if I'm going to ask or not, but I am kind of curious how he can bring Buon and Bear RV without also bringing back those Rangers as well.
I think Speedor just called them over. Because they left through a portal, so I think Speedor went back to the engine dimension and called them over for help.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. And if they're all there for the wedding, then it's possible.
Yeah, Speedor knew where they were, so he went and got Bus on a Bear RV and brought him in.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't need, and since Busan and Bear RV already had their souls inside, they wouldn't necessarily need
That's true.
Rin and Saki there to to control them. Oh, speaking of which, speaking of Saki, I love that part where Sosuke is trying to cheer up the little kid, and he does that smile.
Yeah, he did. I caught that too. It was like, Saki's
I was like, that's not a Sosuke thing to say. I was kind of confused, but
that's Saki.
Yeah.
Remember before
he's been around her too long.
I said, before we started recording, I said, hey, I don't understand how his character got to where he was. I was kind of referring to that scene. Because that's not a Sosuke thing that I'm used to him doing.
That was more just an Easter egg.
Yeah. But he's definitely a really cool Red, and it's cool to see him back. And it's also really fun timing that I watched this episode after Morphicon, when we had the actor who played Sosuke at Morphicon doing his stuff. And he is walking around the convention doing like morph scenes with Vernon Mejia, who played Tyler from Dinosaurs. He did one with Anderson Zane from In Space.
He did one with his Power Rangers counterpart actor too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He did that. So those are all really sick. Like, I was really excited to see those because those are cool.
Mm-hmm. It Go on Red, not only just like as the character, but dude, his actor, I forgot his name, but he is such a cool guy. Like, he is.
I want to meet him so badly.
He's such a Sentai fanboy on Twitter, and he's not even subtle about it.
Oh no,
I know, right?
He's such a thrill. So just having him back on screen again, just because of the actor himself, was so good.
Yeah, and like, I was smiling the entire time he's on screen because I'm watching these videos on like Instagram and TikTok of him doing the Hensons and the morphs for different people, and I'm like, man, this guy is a nerd. He literally went to Christopher Kamen Lee and Justin Nemo and was like, teach me the in space morph. I want to learn how to do it.
I love that.
He's so cool.
So like, he just like walks in and is like, all right, you gotta teach me how to do morph. And they teach him, and he's like doing it. And like, on one hand, I love his English. Like, he has good English.
Mm-hmm.
And second, I just love his enthusiasm. He's not like, staying away from all the fun. Mm-hmm. He's getting into the fun. He's building memories, and that's the part of these events that I love. It's like just seeing these kind of things happen.
Like, he is Sasuke. Like, they're the same person.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Can't wait to see him regularly when we're doing Go-Onger.
I mean, I already am seeing him regularly. Get on my level.
Anthony, do you want to add anything?
Dude, I was just like, it brought me back to when I first watched Go-Onger for the first time. I was just like, wow, like, I need to go back and watch this show. It's like, this brought back memories.
Yeah. There's just one other thing I want to say. For the one or two sad souls who defend Power Ranger Samurai Clash of the Red Rangers, and they say, well, all they could do was get back to Red Ranger. What did you expect? Yeah, well, this is how you do a team-up episode like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This episode is just a perfect opportunity to just take a jab at how bad that team-up episode. Well,
I remember. You know what's funny? I remember when the magazine scans for this episode came out. It's like a preview. They only ever showed Go on Red in costume, and people were wondering, is there something wrong with Earth's atmosphere now?
Oh.
Man.
Well, I mean, thank God they showed Sosuke, and I get why they couldn't show Eka Darville unmorphed in that episode, because apparently Eka Darville wasn't, couldn't do it because he was part of the Screen Actors Guild, but still.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this
Yeah,
was a very fun episode.
he had to go through an alias too, just to even able to even voice this, his character in the special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to also say, my heart goes out to Eka and what he's been through over the last, I think, year or two with his family.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you guys all know, but he lost his son after a long medical battle to keep him going. And so
Yeah,
I
heard
think
about
at
that.
Morphicon,
Yeah, I heard about that.
they were doing like a fundraiser to try and help him with the medical bills because it's pretty exorbitant how much they had to pay for all that. So
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah. And that's the thing I like about the Ranger community is that we all stick together for stuff like this,
Well, I also admire Eka, just not just my heart going out to him for what happened, but I mean he's one of those Power Ranger actors that's had a very respectable career after the show, because he had, I don't know if it was a regular role or a recurring role on Jessica Jones, but
He had a recurring role.
yeah. But he's also had like a bunch of other roles, and yet he still shows up to these conventions because I remember he was at a Power Morphicon. I can't remember if it was the one that I went to with Anthony or the previous one, but yeah, he still has a lot going for him in his career, and he's still coming to these cons. I have to respect those actors in particular because they appreciate this particular fan base. That's just something that you can't help but love.
And we can honestly do a whole podcast on the Ranger community and the closeness of certain actors with other actors, but that's a whole other topic for a whole other day.
Yeah. But for this particular Boonboomger episode, part of me just wants to give it a 10 just because it was such an enjoyable experience. So.
I am going to give it a 10. Yeah,
I'm going to also,
Screw holding 10s back. This is a 10. I had a lot of fun. I was smiling nonstop. It was a great time.
10.
It was a nice
10,
Go-Onger. Yeah, it was a nice Go-Onger love letter, and that's all I wanted.
So. Now, there is also a rumor I picked up on Reddit. I don't know how true it is, but this is not the only time we might see Go On Red come back. There is supposed to be another episode in the future that has not aired yet that should feature Go On Red and Gokai Red.
That would be, oh god,
amazing.
Well, those two got along well in the Go-Onger tribute episode in Go-Kaiju, so I can imagine it'll go well again.
Oh yeah.
I was hoping that you were going to say Red Racer was going to come back because I've wanted Go On Red and Red Racer on screen together for a long time. Could you imagine?
I have not seen that one yet, so I have no opinions.
I know, but like Nate, could you imagine?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I was hoping so because I've been wanting a Car Ranger character to come back for a while now. So
they could still bring one back for this.
They did that anniversary special. They did that dinosaur special with Pure Yujo where they got
back
Abba Red and
bring back Turbo.
Ranger. So just do something like that.
Turbo Red, Red Racer, and Go On Red all come back, please. Just please.
Yeah, and you can get Red Turbo because Red Turbo was also just a Power Morphicon too.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I demand this now. Toei, get on
it. I wonder if Morphicon had a photo op where you could get a photo with both Go On Red and Turbo Red. That could have been pretty sick.
Yeah. But you guys ready to move on to 13?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so we have Treacherous Procurement. That's Bakuage 13. It's a kind of a Gimba focus episode where so we start off with it being revealed that Ishiro has created 2 new Boom Boom cards. There's Boom Boom Safari. It's a safari vehicle, and a Boom Boom Marine. It's an aquarium truck. These are Boom Boom cards with AI that he designed. He got inspired by the encounter with Sasuke and Speedor, and they find that the Boom Boomers find that they have to prove themselves to the mechs because they have AI, and Gimba impresses Boom Boom Safari in this episode. He pulls a ruse to basically turn the Hashirian's latest scheme against them, he basically pretends to be on their side before turning the scheme against them, and that's what causes him to win over Boom Boom Safari. And Boom Boom Safari is able to combine with Boom Boom Robo to form Boom Boom Robo Safari Custom. It gets two claw-like attachments, and this episode marks the debut of Boom Boom Killer Robo. It's a dark copy of Boom Boom Robo. It's basically a personal. It's kind of like. Well, I don't want to say Serpentera because that would probably be, really exaggerating how powerful this thing is. But it's a recurring evil mech that we're going to be seeing the Boom Boomgers fight against very frequently, and it was built by Cannonborg. What do we think about this one, guys?
Okay, I'm going to start off by saying it never ceases to amaze me how often I walk into these episodes and I'm kind of surprised, like, man, what is Genba doing? Why is he defecting to the bad team? And then halfway through, it's revealed that the intention was not to do that. It was to really trick him into doing something else. Like, this has happened a couple of times in the season so far, and it's always been like you would think after the second or third time I would expect it, and I would be like, oh, we're doing this again? Cool. But no, I'm still like on the edge of my seat, like wondering, like, what's going on here? What are we doing? So the fact that we're able to write stories like this and keep it suspenseful and interesting is also really cool to me.
Yeah, Genba's always like one step ahead of everyone else. It makes him, and honestly, like, he keeps throwing me off with his vibe because he comes off as a guy who would be annoyed by everybody, but he's like very like welcoming and friendly with everybody, and he's like maybe the smartest guy on the team, just from like a tactical standpoint, because he knows where to get stuff, but then he also knows how to one up people. So he's a fun and interesting character to watch because he's not what he seems he is, and I like that about him.
Yeah, definitely.
He's another very unique character. Patrick kind of put the words in my mouth perfectly. I'm trying to he comes off like maybe he would be a character like I don't know, maybe Joe from Go-Onger, like the kind of guy who is very kind of cold and uncaring. Now, to be fair, Joe is, deep down, he's a very caring person, but the exterior he gives is cold and uncaring. But Genba comes off like he would be that type of person, but he's very caring. And the thing that really made me like him here is that he directly calls the Boom Boomgers his friends. That was a very heartfelt moment in this episode.
Yeah, he was the first one to sit down and eat Boom Boom's heart attack inducing looking curry.
Dude,
all that fried food, and he just went with it.
Patrick, I got secondhand diabetes looking at that bowl.
No, I felt it in like my upper chest.
Oh, can we also just say that I'm so glad that Mira caught on to that?
Yeah, I didn't expect her to catch on to it.
Because normally she'd be the last person to figure things out, but she actually caught on to it. I'm proud of her. It's progress.
Yeah, she wasn't totally oblivious to everything for once. Good on her.
Right.
And honestly, that scene has risen my stocks for her as well, even more.
Yeah.
I don't know, this is if it's too early to say it, but she's quickly going into S tier territory for me and staying there. I know we said at the beginning she had S tier potential, but now I'm starting to see her start to solidify it, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, out of all the pinks I've seen so far, she's definitely one of my favorites because her energy is infectious.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm kind of scared to say that C and Sai are going to have some fun competition down the line.
Even me, I don't know, Sentai Pinks are very hit and miss. There's there are some pinks that are really, 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 really good, and then the other pinks that aren't really, really, really good are just like you can't even remember that they exist. But she definitely exists in the former category.
Yeah, like the only two Sentai pinks that I've seen that really stuck with me are Mega Pink and Ginga Pink. The others are just like, who cares? And Mira is really like establishing herself as maybe the third best pink out of the ones I've seen so far. So
yeah, for sure. But yeah, I'd probably give this one a 9 too. I thought it was pretty good for Gimba's character development.
Yeah, it's a 9.
I would. It's a 9.
9 for me as well.
All right, cool. Now let's move on to the last episode in this batch. It's called Cool and Wild. This is an Ishiro episode where he's trying desperately to win over Boom Boom Marine. And why? Well, because Marine is an aquarium-themed truck, and Ishiro, as revealed in this episode, he has a personal love for aquariums. He wants so back when he was still working with Taya, he was suffering from a lot of anxiety and stress over all of his missions. Then he stumbled upon an aquarium, and he went there, and it really brought him a lot of comfort. So, pardon me. Ever since then, he's just had a personal love for aquariums, and as a result of him going through his bit of an arc here, he bonds with Boom Boom Marine, and it's able to combine with Boom Boom Robo and Boom Boom Safari to form Boom Boom Robo Monster. It becomes a head attachment. So yeah, that's about it for the information on this episode. What do we think about this one, guys?
This is my favorite Ishiro episode, hands down. I loved seeing like a softer, more fragile side to a guy who's been very closed up about who he is, and seeing him like be happy at this aquarium was like refreshing, because he's been so tight and so like tense ever since we've seen him since the beginning of the season. Seeing him more relaxed and so passionate about something was a very refreshing look on his person. And him and Mira getting time to like properly bond too, because they've kind of been at odds with each other for the most part. So seeing him acknowledge her as a comrade finally, even to her surprise, that was kind of a funny moment, was very good. So yeah, another good episode from the season.
Yeah, I really. Oh, go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, I mean, you said it was your favorite Ishiro episode. I don't even remember like one that was given fully to him, but it's great that we're finally getting one to really flesh out his character a lot more. And
I think the second episode was kind of an episode for him, because it was kind of him and Mira like
it was
coming to terms of working together.
It's how he joined the team, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
But I love how Mira shared the spotlight with him, because Mira and him kind of have that rivalry, not necessarily like Ryu and Guy from Jetman, but something more along the lines of like Ryunosuke and Chiaki from Shinkenger, like two people who just don't like each other and are like clashing, like well, in this case it would be a brother and sister type of clashing, while in Ryunosuke and Chiaki's case it's just two brothers going at it. But yeah, definitely. That's definitely what made this episode work even better. It was just a very well-rounded episode.
I mean, another comparison, if you want to make it, is kind of Hikaru and Saya from Giga Man.
Yeah, that can work too.
But yeah, I thought this is a really good episode. I liked seeing another side of Isiru. I thought the aquarium thing was a really cool touch, because it is a very relaxing place to go. I love going to the aquarium myself, and I can understand how that helps with like the anxiety and the stress from constantly doing stuff like what they're doing in the Boonboomger world. So it definitely makes sense, and I can definitely empathize. And I thought, man, this is a really strong episode for the guy, and he's already a strong character in my opinion. Like I don't know if I call him a top 5 blue, but he's definitely a pretty high ranking blue in my opinion.
I'd say top 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly.
And another thing, and I don't know if this was intentional, but I'm going to act like it's an intentional thing. Him being a big fan of aquariums, he's what's like the color of aquariums and the color of water? Blue. Maybe that's an explanation as to why he's the Blue Ranger. He associates the blue with
Possibly.
comfort, so blue is his comfort color. Maybe I'm looking too deep into that, but it kind of lines up.
I mean,
No,
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah.
I agree with you up until the point that his blue is not that teal blue, like how the Mariner.
But still, blue is the color of ocean, color of the sea.
Yeah.
So,
what do y'all think about these? We haven't really talked about it yet, but what do y'all think about Safari and Marine?
I mean, I think Marine stands out a bit more because it's a head attachment. Because we have I don't really remember. Well, okay, Shin Kincher's auxiliary mechs kind of did that a little bit, but this is completely different. I think that's kind of unique a little bit. But for Safari, it's just arm attachment stuff.
I didn't really like Safari at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that they're inspired off of the engines. That's kind of a cool way to like have a lasting impact of their time knowing the Go-Ongers. But I think these two attachments kind of bring up an overall thing that I actually like about Boonboomger Robo, is that something that's like probably one of the biggest gripes I have with Super Sentai and Power Rangers in general is that the mecha fights all kind of gel together and they get really stale after a while. And it kind of reminds me a lot of one of the things that Geki Ranger actually did relatively well for me was they found a way to keep the mecha fights fresh, and all of these forms for Boonboomger Robo gives him like a different fighting style, like very distinct fighting styles. So the way the mecha fights are actually stand out. And this Boom Boom Monster, whatever we called it here, he was fighting like Wolverine. He was hunched over. Yeah. He had like this animalistic stance, and he was like leaping at him like an animal. And I was like, this is just Mecha Wolverine, and this was sick.
Yeah,
you're right, Patrick. Jungle Fury did have really good mech scene fights, didn't they?
No, not Geki Ranger. Jungle Fury.
He says sarcastically.
Yeah, but like, we talked about Geki Toja in like the first part of our Geki Ranger series. That Geki Toja was a unique mecha because he didn't fight like other mechas did. And Boonboomger Robo is so versatile, and I like the additions that these two things provide to him.
I think Nightform's my favorite out of all of them, to be honest with you. All the forms he has, I think Night's my favorite. Yeah,
Jungle Pride Megazord definitely had some good fight scenes.
If I don't look at Geki Ranger, it doesn't exist.
But these ones are even more unique because, like, a complaint, not just with Geki Ranger, but even in Jungle Fury, like, we probably could have done without, and this is in both series, we probably could have done without all that stupid commentary from the Fly Guy. But here, there's no stupid commentary there, which is ironic because in a season like this, commentary on a mecha fight would actually be a bit more fitting. But
Boom Boom is very talkative during the mech fight, so that kind of makes up for it.
Yeah. You know what'd be really cool, guys?
What's that?
I'm just thinking about it. Like, if we ever somehow got somebody to bring back doing Power Ranger live action TV shows again, and we were able to adapt Sentai like this one, you know how I'd honestly want playing like the Boon robot? I'd want Kilson to play that.
Yeah, that could work.
I think that'd be really fun.
But yeah, I definitely agree with Patrick that this is another one of those seasons. Very few. Well, okay, it wasn't as big of a deal in like King Oger because believe it or not, they didn't always try to force mecha battles in King Oger.
Yeah, and it made them more impactful when they did happen.
I mean,
yeah, but this is another one where the mech fights do really stand out.
I mean, with King Oger, I think we can only really count like 20 fights with mechs throughout the entire season.
Yeah,
which is less than half the series.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just guesstimating here. I don't know for certain how many.
And
it
that's
was,
another thing that makes me applaud King Oger for going against the trend a little bit. They didn't force them into episodes, so when they did happen, they had impact, and they were only happen when they needed to happen.
And see, that's the thing that I like about Boonboomger is that for King Oger, it worked to be not an episode by episode kind of thing.
Mhm.
But Boonboomger, it has to be like self-contained stories, like the normal format, just to be for it to make sense, you know. And I like that we can. I like that they're able to like recognize what works for what season and for what cast, and they're doing it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because prior to King Oger, it was all like very standardized. Oh, we're gonna have a character episode here for this guy, or we're gonna have like just random filler here with no meaning to it whatsoever. Looking at you, Zero Ranger.
Thank you for giving Zoo Ranger a call out for me.
And the season that will not be named.
Mhm.
I hate you, Daijujin.
Anthony, do you want to add anything for episode 14?
Other than the fact that I just really enjoyed the fact that he Boom Blue finally acknowledges Mira's existence, like say, hey, I respect you, you're my respect. That was actually a very powerful moment. Like, I know most people be like, well, we already talked about that, but I had to point out too that really it shocked me too, because it's like, wow, like she was like, oh, shocked me too.
Yeah, I mean, because Ishiro's not really the guy to like openly, I guess, acknowledge respect for somebody that he isn't particularly fond of. So that was kind of like a man up moment for him. So
It was crazy. He even acknowledged Joe like earlier on before Mira. That's wild to me.
Oh yeah, he did do that.
Mm.
But what do we want to give 14 out of 10, guys?
9.
9.
Keep rolling them 9s out.
Yep.
Okay, so just to wrap this up, we don't have to talk about the villains just because there's not really much to talk about with them. But do we want to give any? We don't necessarily have to do the tierings up until maybe once we do Bakuage 24, because then at that point we're kind of halfway through the series. But do we want to give any extra commentary on any of the other Boonboomgers, ones that we haven't, we've talked about Taya and we've talked about Ishiro and Gimba to some extent, but do we see any stock for the other ones go up or anything?
Joe didn't really have anything to do in these episodes, so I can't really count that against him.
Joe was kind of there in the background.
Mira was really good in the last episode we talked about too, because she is kind of showing her cheerleader supportive side, and she ran down to help Ishiro when she saw that he was getting beat up, and helped him with his cause, saw that he was determined to keep that aquarium safe, and she was motivated to help him with that. So I like her role in the team of being the helping hand that's always there when they need it.
Yeah. Also, I do want to add in that I think Mira is an interesting character because a lot of the times when you have a Sentai, you can kind of point to one character who's kind of what the Sentai season's about, with Senkinzer, it's mainly about Takeru's journey to the end. Or with Gingaman, it was really all about
Ryoma,
right. So, you can always point to that one person who you can kind of say, okay, this season's really about you. And normally it's the red. But in this one, I'm half tempted to say that it's kind of a split thing between Taya and Mira, equally, in my opinion. Because
I'd
Mira's...
probably lean a bit more toward Mira, but yeah, I see what you're
I
saying.
don't agree with that, because Taya has had some really good moments that we didn't really touch on too much in this podcast. Namely, in that episode, what was it, 11?
Yeah.
With the courier thing with the boy.
Yep.
We did get some interesting background into like the old boss that he used to have that started him down the career path. So that kind of stuff also kind of helps to flesh out Taya and to give an idea of like, okay, so this entire courier business they're running is really Taya's thing because of this mentor guy he had. So it's a lot about Taya. Mira is definitely a big part of it, but I think I would consider them kind of equal on like main character status here.
Yeah, I could definitely get behind that.
Yeah.
Especially seeing how the first episode really established the whole thing of her wanting to be the driver in her own story.
Exactly. And it's
that I feel like that line in the first episode, that moment she had in the first episode, wasn't just like her welcome to the team moment. I feel like that's kind of, what's the term that I'm looking for? The surrogate character. If you know what that role in a story is, she feels like the surrogate character, where the thing that she got pulled into had been established before she was there, but just like from us, we're learning about everything in real time alongside her.
With her, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like Jubilee in the 90s X-Men cartoon.
Yeah.
She kind of has that same role, and that does kind of put her in a main character position. So,
which that kind of makes me feel that Mira is only just going to get better, and by the end of this series, we could even say that she is like possibly, maybe not number one, but at least a number two pink. Because in that case, she's like the first Pink Ranger to be undisputedly the main character of her Sentai, besides Taya. Because honestly, there's only like a handful of seasons where you can't get away with just saying that the season is all about the red. Like, we have Jetman, where Ryu is kind of the main character, but it's also a lot about Guy, too.
Yeah.
Bokunger can be a little black-centric. Well, I'll let you guys judge that, too, when we review Bokunger.
Kaku Ranger.
Yeah, Kaku Ranger for sure. But
honestly, I know that Tsuruhime is not a pink, but she is the pink insert, and she is the main character of Kaku Ranger. So
yes,
yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, but that would just make Mira probably be, if we were to put Tsuruhime on the level of pinks, then I mean, she could probably be on Tsuruhime's level by the end of this.
I hope so. I'm actually rooting for it.
Yeah. I just really wish that other Sentai, like, could we get one that's more about like the blue or, you know, yellow or something like that? I mean, okay, yellow kind of does some stuff, and they kind of be a bit of a main character in Go Ranger, but well, first of all, Go Ranger still sucks, but
you'll probably Dawn Brothers gives us more yellow centric episodes.
That's good to know for when we eventually get there.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wish that Sentai would start to give us more seasons where you could make the case that, like, someone like, okay, Red, I get it because, you know, he's the leader, but there are other seasons where someone other than Red does have, like, the main character spotlight, and I just wish that other colors, because I can't remember a single Sentai where the Blue Ranger, where you can make the case that, like, he's the central character. I just wish that stuff like that would happen. But yeah, but with all that said, I mean, Boonboomger is still running pretty good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Do we want to add anything else before we close out?
No, I think the only other thing I would say is I hope we get some more Joe-centric episodes soon, because he's kind of getting stagnant.
Oh, don't worry. I kind of watched a bit ahead. The very next episode we cover, the first episode of the next batch, is a Joe episode, and it's a very damn good one.
Oh, look, my wish came true.
Right.
See, they don't center on one character too long. It seems like they alternate and give everybody an even spotlight.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, it is good.
Yep. But with that said, that wraps up this little Boonboomger segment. We are, like I said at the beginning, we're going to be working toward trying to get caught up with Boonboomger. We're going to be taking a look at 15 through 18 next time. And then from there, we'll try to get everything up to 27 or 28, depending on what the latest episode is when we're getting caught up. But yeah, after we get caught up with Boonboomger, we can then move on to another very wacky and lighthearted, but still very fun vehicle-themed Sentai.
Go-Onger!
Yep. We're definitely looking forward to that. We got a lot of stuff planned for you guys to close out the fourth quarter of the year, and we hope you guys will join us for all of that, and we will see you guys next time when we return to Boonboomger. But until then, bye for now. If you enjoyed listening to the Toku Secrets podcast, please check us out at animesecrets.org and follow us on all our social media pages such as Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And also feel free to check out our other podcasts, including Anime Declassified and the Jedi Squadron. You can also leave us any feedback you'd like to offer us directly on our website. If you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, we thank you so much, and please leave us a rating out of 5 stars. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel if you're not already subscribed, and leave any comments down below, as we love to take the time to read comments left on our channel and give our fans, shout-outs. If you have any seasons of Super Sentai, Power Rangers, or other tokusatsu shows that you'd like for us to check out, please don't hesitate to say so in your feedback. With all that said, we thank you so much for taking the time to listen to our podcast, and we will see you next time as we continue our never-ending journey through the world of tokusatsu. But until that time, you all stay safe, we love you, and may the power protect you.